as just to try, my issue was to see if the localities could have other ways of doing it. For example, are localities going to have the power to basically to further download subdivision roads to homeowner associations?
Potentially, but if there are subdivisions they approved in the first place, you know, if that's all at the onset of that subdivision, I don't really have a problem with that either. Right? And think of the flip side right now. VDOT just has to accept like thousands of miles of subdivision roads into the system. There's no way to budget for it. They have no control over it. All they have to do is meet a set of road standards.
Is there a proposal out there to take subdivision roads off the grid?
No, not that I've seen.
Can you one?
I
say this as somebody who lives in a subdivision who would have to pay a higher HOA fee.
I will tell you it is being discussed. It is not, you know, this isn't the first time I've batted it back and forth with anybody.
Okay.
So yes, it's definitely under consideration.
And then the next time you can say that somebody who actually lives in a subdivision.
Yeah, that's right. That always helps, you know.
I figured.
But let me jump to politics for a minute. I think it's likely, we haven't decided finally, but I think it's likely that I'm going to run for Attorney General next year. And, you know, in the Senate, because of the nature of the Senate the last few years, I've had the opportunity to be either the or a leader on taxes, fighting higher taxes, property rights. I've been the person in Virginia who led that fight. On life, that has been a continual fight even within my caucus. Second Amendment rights, I'm on courts, and my first year I was the leader for the Second Amendment. Mark Ogenchain arrived in my second year, and he and I have tag teamed it ever since. And lots of other people have gotten in on it. The bills this year were Emmett Hanger and Jill Vogels, and we like to spread the wealth. And in that respect, the Senate actually got more pro-Second Amendment after the last election than it was before, which is sort of an interesting change. But you know, these are foundational issues based on principles that are as old as this country and beyond that motivate me to run. They've motivated me to run for the Senate. They've motivated what I've done in the Senate or fought against. Thankfully, I've never said over my dead body, because in the Senate, I'd be dead at this point. But, you know, before I got there, there were no votes. But before I got there, there wasn't a lot of debate to the contrary. And one of the things that so riled so many people in the Senate was I would actually get up and question what they were doing. And you know, it's one thing to vote no, but shut up, you know. and I have never been known for shutting up, for better or worse. And that has been a trait that I have never changed. I'm not someone who takes a great deal of pride in pleasing the establishment. That's not a goal of mine. In fact, when that's happening, I sort of question what I'm doing to make sure I'm going the right way. But at the same time, I have been effective on property rights. I do believe that the tax proposals in the Senate have been scaled back. I haven't beaten many, but they've been scaled back because now there's a deterrent effect. People know what they're facing in the Senate when they bring it forward, including Republicans. And it's not something that a lot of them want to deal with. They don't mind going down the hall to the House where they can't get on the floor and sort of feeding them their tax bills. But to have to defend it on the Senate floor, which is what they now have to do, because I make them do it, I ask the question, why are we doing this? Not, is this enough or is this too much? And they don't like to defend that question. Liberals, all their positions are based on fallacies, all of them. So if you get the chance to peel back the onion enough, you get to the sand foundation that they're standing on. And it drives them crazy. And I believe that they put in less bad legislation. Let me put this all in context. Because they have now, for the last 6 years, been challenged on it. And that has only gotten better. You know, with the addition of Ralph Smith, for instance, Joe Vogel. Ralph Smith I mean, he sits with every bill. He's a great addition to the Senate. He sits with every bill and he says, why are we doing this? He votes. He is fearless in voting no. He doesn't care if it's 39-1. You know, he knows his folks didn't send him to Richmond to build government, to make it bigger. And one of the things I would like to do as Attorney General is go back over the last 20 years of bills, just the ones that passed, and look at all the nitpicky little things we've slapped onto government. You know, it's like a car. We started with a car however long ago, and we slapped clay on it. Well, imagine what it looks like now, however many years later. And that's kind of where our government is, in my view. Bob McDonnell is wisely reviewing our regulatory scheme and trying to look for places to scale it back. I'd like to go beyond that and look at our legal scheme and see where we can undo things we've done that haven't been effective or that we shouldn't have done in the first place.
Just one question, and I am going to ask this as a deputy candidate for Attorney General I run into. And just as an aside, I live in Ryan McDougal's district. There are rumors that he himself is also running for Attorney General. Don't assume that everybody in Ryan McDougal's district supports Ryan McDougal. I just want to say that up front. My question, though, is, have you given any thought to the possibility of filing suit against the federal government for recompense for costs to state and local governments due to illegal immigration?
If there were a way to maintain that suit, I'd love to do it, but I suspect that sovereign immunity from the federal government would block it. And that's off the top of my head. Now, I do some constitutional litigation. I'm suing the state at the moment in an election law matter, and so I have some familiarity with standing vis-a-vis the state, but I also know it's a lot tougher when you move to take the feds on directly. Unless they have legislatively opened the door to it, it is typically not available.
Never talked to.
Yeah, that's right. But clearly they've imposed a lot of costs on us, more by omission than anything.
Right.
And
well, this would clearly be what that would be. This would be
right.
This would be a failure on their part to enforce the law
right.
and then hand us the bill.
But keep in mind, I mean, where they get the money. I mean, they get the money from us. And they overspend it, but that's another matter entirely. The next year is going to be a convention for our nomination. Like every other candidate, I hope, I'm focused on this year's races first, but I'm going to try and get around the state as I am today and talk to Republicans one at a time, two at a time, conservatives, libertarians, people who just care about one issue, Second Amendment, Fifth Amendment, life, taxes, whatever, school choice, whatever appropriate issue they've got. And I'm going to try and rally those folks and bring them to a convention next year to win this nomination. If we go forward, and I think we probably will, then I would appreciate the support of everyone here. And not just for the nomination, but through to a general election win. And would look forward at that point of really taking a view of our whole code, what we've done over the last couple of decades, to try and start stripping it back. So, and I appreciate you all hearing from me. I hope it's okay if we run back out.
That's okay.